This is Kara from Kara Tarot with another walkthrough of a fairly new deck to me, Boadicea's Tarot of Earthly Delights. Paula Millett, the deck creator and artist, and Caroline Kenner, the author. This is a red feather deck. Nice, big, solid box. We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep. The quote from The Tempest. This sort of a spider web over the cosmos inside the box here. A very nice sized book. 200 and there are lots. There's quite the index in here. 206 pages. As you flip through backwards, there are a variety of spreads, traditional and new. And then just general things about reading the tarot. There's a short history of the tarot, a little commentary about Boadicea or Boadicea. It is said both ways, and my understanding is both are considered correct, or both are considered usual. Whether one is considered correct or not, I guess depends what you say. And then talk about why they were focusing on the Bosch work of the Garden of Earthly Delights. And then talk about the major arcana, color pictures of the major arcana, interpretation, symbols, reversed interpretation. And then when you get to the minors, about the same amount on each of the minors as well. That is combustion, tentacles, ether, and fungi. It's still fire, earth, air. Fire, water, air, and earth. So it's still those, but the titles are changed. I'll just start off with I have already said in other places, I feel so connected to this deck that I believe this will be a deck that becomes a main deck for me. The Fool, Magician, High Priestess, Empress. These are larger cards. As you can see, they're wider. They're what I would call oracle weight, but the thinner oracle weight. They are completely matte finish, smooth matte finish. That's the backs. So they're not so thick that you cannot riffle, shuffle, and bridge them. You can definitely do that. Emperor, Hierophant, the Lovers, and the Chariot. There definitely is nudity in this deck. Strength is 8. The Hermit. The Wheel of Fortune, and Justice is 11. Here's an example of the fantasy element of a human body with an animal head. You will have noticed this theme. This is something I actually like. I know some people really dislike that. Here's another one, the Hierophant. And a human body with a vegetable head. So the fantasy is lush and diverse in this deck. You really can't escape the fantasy element of this deck. Hanged Man, Death, Temperance, the Devil, more traditional images there. The Tower. I guess that would be Boadicea's revenge there, having the French Tower. The Star, the Moon, the Sun. These are often three that I will look to in particular to see if I like the way that they work together in a deck. Obviously I do in this deck. Judgment, the World, an additional card, Boadicea the Queen, and another additional card which does not have the same color border as the other majors. So and this card is actually mentioned on the front page of the minors in the book. So this is just, it's not a major, it's just an additional card. Perspicacious Platypus. So let me tell you a little bit about the Boadicea card and the Platypus card. The interpretation of Boadicea the Queen. In a time of oppression, it is imperative to resist in order to remain in good conscience with oneself. Rebellion comes as a cleansing when tyrants are overthrown. It's a particularly timely deck. We owe it to ourselves and to our descendants to resist oppression here and now. Silence in the face of institutionalized oppression is consent, even complicity. Boadicea called upon the ancient Celtic British goddess of victory, Andraste, for victory in battle. Andraste is similar to Nike in ancient Greece. So that is the meaning of the Boadicea card. And the Perspicacious Platypus represents the reader or the querent has achieved a very personal enlightenment, perhaps through study of the tarot, perhaps through life experience. They've learned to know themselves and love themselves as they are, as they have been, as they will be. Know yourself and love yourself. And remember, fully adult spiritual beings know how to behave themselves for best results. Now that's obviously, I just was condensing 2 pages there. We are all multifaceted, imperfect, inspiring, exasperating, lovable, all two mortal beings. The platypus and their reflection smile proudly at each other. So it's kind of a self-love card. This is a call to action, and that's a self-love card. So those are the majors of the deck. And now we start with the suits. I think this combustion suit, the fire suit, is particularly beautiful. So often it's firelight, but look at that surreal image of 3 people with burning hats in front of the Taj Mahal, it looks like. The next 4 really start to bring in combustion. This one brings in combustion as action. Obviously, combustion as activity, the 8 of combustion. sometimes how it feels when you're overburdened. And then the court cards of combustion. Once again, we have a flame here coming from the head, and there's a spike there, but it emphasizes that same sort of thing. Tentacles, for a moment, I was confusing it with pentacles. I played Tarot Solitaire with this deck quite a bit in getting ready to talk about it, to familiarize myself with the cards. And, but very soon, it's easy to equate tentacles with water, and that I get over that similarity to pentacles. Although I'm sure that was an intentional play on words. This, as the Four of Cups, doesn't necessarily give us the same sort of meditative quality. It's definitely more fantastical. And the same thing with this as the Five. So there are definitely differences due to the imagery that it will bring out, but it is Rider-Waite-Smith based. Leaving behind the tentacles, the Eight of Tentacles. I would say that almost reminds me of the Six of Cups there, but then this is definitely a Six of Cups image. Children playing at the waterside. The Court of Tentacles. There's a lot to unpack in this Queen of Cups. The Air suit, or the Sword suit. This looks very much like Two of Swords. Here, we have three insects starting to devour the heart of flowers. Interesting. I'm particularly fond of the aces in this deck. That definitely reminds us of the Six of Swords, Six of Ether. Although here we are flying over land in this boat. The feeling of being trapped, but the being trapped is in your mind. This to me looks a much more pleasant Nine of Air, although it still is a spider web. And then the Ten of Swords, still very much the same kind of image. And the court cards of the air suit. The court cards I just think are fantastic in this deck. And Earth is fungi. Here we have the beggars outside of the church. This, I think, is supposed to be the rich person giving a mushroom to the person. Do we get the working together? This is the working together of the fungi on the back of the tortoise's back. So I do think you can see enough of the Rider-Waite-Smith imagery in these to understand them and then go somewhere else with the imagery. Oh, I started let me set the 9. So first of all, before I get to those, I'm going to do the 7, 8, 9 of Earth because I really like these cards. I feel affinity for these cards. So we definitely get the pensiveness and the thoughtfulness and planning of that. This is like a sculptor drawing fungi with a fungi, and then the 9 of fungi, this plenty, contentment, and even glamour, which is something I have said I look for. And then the 10, the completion, the ancestry, the happy family. And the fungi court. And again, just the courts, I just think are wonderful. They almost kind of look space age here. Such tremendous visual inventiveness. So obviously, I like this deck quite a bit. So while I'm here, I'll just go ahead and... So it doesn't bridge very well. They're a little too stiff for bridging. But they certainly shuffle just fine. They spread beautifully because they're matte and smooth, and so they just spread like a dream. And of course they are thick enough that for those who shuffle like this, they are, that works very well because they, as I said, I think of these as a lightweight oracle weight, kind of oracle card weight. I didn't say they were gilded, but I think you've seen that by now. So that's Boadicea's Tarot of Earthly Delights. And I think before I go, I'm going to go ahead and do, I have enough time. My dog is very interested in this deck. She is. She's very interested in what I'm doing here. I'm going to shuffle these majors, and then I'm going to do an Arcana Battle, which I haven't done for a while with a new deck. And these are, even just with this small portion of the deck, they are shuffling really beautifully, and that's because of the stiffness of the cards, that they really bounce a lot. Okay, so here we go. Oh, for those who don't remember Arcana Battle, it is, you don't stop to think about what the card is about and whether you like the card. You're just going by a knee-jerk visual reaction to the card, keeping the one of the two that you like best. I really like this Hangman card. So, the Hanged Man and Judgment. So definitely a different way of seeing, and a call to the realization of your higher self. And that works for me definitely as how I see working with this deck. So thank you for spending time with me and getting to look at Boadicea's Tarot of Earthly Delights. As I said, I feel that this will be one of the decks that represents me, between Scarab and Dahlia and this. And then of course I have my old standbys, Influence of the Angels and The Distant Past, and all of those are kind of, they're all collage decks. So Tammy Pie was saying in one of her videos, there are those of us who like collage decks. And yes, here I am. So I hope you enjoyed seeing this deck. And I don't know if this had been a Kickstarter deck that is now mass market. This is mass market. So in addition to all the wonderful things about it, it's quite inexpensive. I think it was only about $25. So I'm loving that aspect of it too. It would be very easy to get a second copy to have on hand for a deck that I consider that I will use a lot. And I think it will be easy to use with other people because there's so much imagery going on. This is Cara from Cara Tarot. Thanks.